Hi, how's it going, guys? Today I want to talk to you about myself again, but as a writer. Now, I thought of this because of the fact that National Novel Writing Month is coming up pretty soon now. It's already the 16th of October, and there's only 31 days, so we're already halfway through the month, guys, which is already amazing by itself. But November happens to be National Novel Writing Month, and if you don't know what that is, I do not blame you. A lot of people don't, a lot of people do. It's one of those hit or miss kind of things to know. So I'm going to briefly explain NaNoWriMo to you, aka National Novel Writing Month, and then I'll talk to you about myself as a writer, what Nano means to me, things like that. So let's get right into it, shall we? Okay, so to start out, National Novel Writing Month is kind of like a challenge against the world. It's actually no longer national, it's international. They just never changed the name. But it's done on every continent. It is the same challenge for everyone. Well, that's how it works generally, but some people change it to fit their own needs. But the goal is to write a 50,000 word novel in a month. Yes, 50, that's 50,000 words. That's never 3 zeros. That is a lot of fiction to write in 1 month, and it's especially hard for some people over others. It's a great practice, though, I think. It's good for getting into the habit of writing, hopefully every day, to reach your word count goal. It is kind of exciting just because it's like a challenge against other people, even if the real challenge is just getting to the end of this race, so to speak. It has a social aspect to it. NaNoWriMo has its own forums. There's regional forums, and you can find people who live in your area and go to write-ins that are outside the house. For example, I like to go to these ones at Panera Bread that are on Tuesdays when I can go. This year I will be going to a lot of the write-ins based on the fact that my aunt gave me a card that I can use for Lyft specifically to get rides to writing events, and write-ins are writing events. And then I found another person who lives in my town, not far from me, who was willing to give me rides for certain write-ins, like the kickoff party, which is really far away, so I'd have to spend a lot on the Lyft, or to other write-ins that they're going to, they'll bring me along. So basically I'm a tag-along. But so I really like it for the social aspect. I do like it for pushing me to write more, but I also like how you meet new people, you can connect with them, they're all fellow writers, so you all have something in common. There are sometimes fights between writers, it does happen, but most of the time on the National Novel Writing Month forums, they're all pretty cool. And if you want to know more about NaNoWriMo, I'll leave a link down below to give you more details directly from that. Now, as a writer, I write a lot of different genres. I write science fiction, I write fantasy, I write adventure, I'm currently going to be writing a supernatural romance. I write a lot of different genres, and usually I do a mixture of a lot of them. For example, one of my prize projects was Alien Irony, a comic that I was working on a long time ago that I need to rework on it. But it was a comic that was a mixture of everything from sci-fi to slice of life to military to horror. I almost felt like saying it's not really horror, but it does have some psychological thrills in it. And that's just one of my projects. I have so many projects I could probably do a video just on that. But I want to make a short video today. I don't want to blabber too long to you. So let's continue. I started writing when I was, basically as soon as I learned to read, I was writing. I made stories up as a kid. Even if I couldn't write them down, I always liked it better when my parents, like my father, would tell me stories he made up on the top of his head. I always liked those. He always included me in them. And I think that's why, for me, all my characters have a little tiny piece of me in them. no matter what. Like, I can relate to all my characters because of the fact that they all have one of my traits. And an example of that would be Flutter having androphobia, or how one of my characters is very impatient while another character is super patient. Because the thing is, I am on the fence with a lot of things. I can be really patient, or I can be seething with frustration that things are taking so long. And I find it very helpful to write out my feelings as well. Sometimes I just make my feelings into characters, which actually I was taught to do by a therapist I was seeing, who knew I was a writer and knew that writing can be very helpful for mental health. So writing has a plus there too. It's a coping mechanism for me. I've written prize-winning poetry that had to do with things at home. One of my most memorable poems that I can't recite, but I know the title very well, was War House, which was based on the fact that I felt like my family life at the time, when I was living with my grandparents and my father, primarily the grandparents were the issue, but I felt like I was in the middle of a battlefield. There was constant yelling, there was name calling. I don't really understand why there was so much vital energy in there, but my household was like that at the time. So I wrote this poem about feeling like I was in the middle of a war zone, just being at home. My favorite thing about writing, honestly, is you can break any rule you want. I mean, you can break a law without breaking a law, because you can kill off a character, for example. You can murder your character, but you won't get arrested for murdering a character. It's just not something that happens, because it's just writing. And I think that's an awesome thing about writing is, unless of course you are writing a hit list, or you're writing about a specific person you know in details about them that you want to harm them, that's a little bit iffy and you might want to talk to your therapist about it. But otherwise, if it's just for the thrill of killing a character that has nothing to do with you, or causing a character to go through other terrible situations that involve being alive, there's really a lot of freedom in writing. It's very freeing. It's very, I want to say it's very open-minded. You can be as strict with your writing as you want. Some people, especially with the first draft, I know for me, I tend to either plan hysterically, like I've been trying to for the past month, or I just don't plan a thing and just wing it and hope everything makes sense, which it never does. But the reason I'm telling you this is there are 3 types of writers, okay? According to NaNoWriMo, there are 3 of us. There's planners, who plan every detail, have a very thick outline, and just really know exactly what they're doing with their story. I am not this. Then there's pantsers. They are the ones who just have nothing. Maybe they don't even have a story idea yet, but they start writing and just go with the flow. I'm not that either. I am what's called a plantser, which it basically means I do plan, but only so much. But I've been trying to plan more this year than I ever have, and I'm going to be honest, it's burning me out, so I've stopped planning it so much. Instead, I'm going back to my world building, but I'm focusing on worlds for other stories. So that helps me a lot right now. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a writer. I love how freeing it can be to write. You can let out any anger you have, any pain, any happiness, any emotions you're feeling at that moment can come out in your writing. And that's, I think, one of the beauties of it. Even if most people say, no, that's bad, because then the story is constantly changing its mood. Stories do change their mood sometimes, but that's also what editing is for. You revise things to make more sense without having all your moods in it. Or what I recommend, do your emotional writing separate. Just get a notebook and make it random stories based on my feelings, or however you want to title it, and start writing. And then write a stream of consciousness, or write a short story about a person who's based on you, and then based on your family and friends, and write what happened during the day. Basically, keep a journal. But seriously, you can do anything you want with writing. You just have to be a little careful, because if you show it to other people, then it's no longer just your writing, it's writing you've shared, and people will give you reactions to it. If you want reactions, that's great, but be careful. That's all I can say. Anyway, that's all I really have to say about myself as a writer. I have been published as a poet. A long time ago, I won some contests when I was a little kid, and now I am a 27-year-old adult, still doing my best to try to write a novel I'm proud of that I can hopefully publish someday. And maybe this will be the one. I can only pray it is. But that's my goal for now, and that's all I really have to say. Again, if you're new here, I'm Jelena Rolick. As you can tell, I'm a writer. I'm also an editor. This is my channel. I'm going to be doing more things about writing in National Novel Writing Month, probably throughout the next month or two. But I also do every Wednesday is a writing or random topic, and then every Sunday is a week in review. I will tell you more about these things as things come along, and I will try to find more interesting subject matter to talk to you about. So, if you like this video, besides the fact that I'm rambling so much, then please give it a like. You can give it a dislike if you don't like it, or you can just comment how much you don't like it. I will accept that too. I accept all comments. I would love to hear your ideas for videos you'd like to see me do. I'd love to hear your ideas of what you might write yourself if you decide you want to try writing something for the first time, or if you are a writer, tell me what you're working on. Tell me what you're working on for Nano. You can tell me any ideas you have for videos, any thoughts you had based on this video. I don't care. I will accept all of them, and I will read them, and I will enjoy them, because honestly, I just want comments. I want to be able to connect with you guys more, and I feel like the only way that's going to happen is if people start commenting more, and that's not happening yet. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll leave you alone. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.